Oh, is that it, Steve? What's happened to his intro? Yeah, I've been gone. I've been gone 2 months, 3 months. I can't get back into logging in properly. You come up with a poor intro, and I've got to go from like, unbelievable. Well,
all I'm saying is, right, we're beginning to be monetized, and unfortunately, that intro has the inability to be monetized. So we're going with this one for now.
we're going to have to come up with something new. But anyway, welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show. It is a Talk Town special. And Steve's headline this week is Terriers win big on opening day. Yes, they absolutely did. Oliver, how are you, my friend? How are things down in the Falklands?
Yeah, things are very well. Good to be, nice to see you back onto the podcast. So, yeah, things are well. It's winter time, so it's snowing at the moment here. And like I say, I'm looking forward to spending an hour with you guys talking about Huddersfield Town.
Oh, good man. Hopefully we can keep you nice and warm talking about all the positives that have happened over yesterday and the last few weeks as well, of course, here at Huddersfield Town. And Steve, how are you, my friend?
Yes, good, thanks. Enjoyed my my tea that I've just had, which was pork steaks with lovely seasoned potatoes from the fridge. Okay. So obviously, yeah, it's gone well, mate. Enjoyed my week. Ready for another week before getting into MK Dons. So, and I'm looking forward to seeing the bowl where nobody visits.
Yeah, so, of course. And just a quick one. Did you make your tea this evening?
No, I didn't. No, it wouldn't have tasted as nice. So,
fair enough. Fair enough.
I made steak on Wednesday. So that
you made the what? Sorry, steak on Wednesday.
No, this Wednesday I'll be making some steak. So that'll be.
I'll be making it. Yeah, I've heard that one before. Okay, Steve. Yeah, we've heard that one before. Good afternoon as well. Sorry, good evening. I'm going to read some of your comments out. I can't always get them up on there today because Steve is taking control of the system. We'll come on to that.
No, you've just failed in your duties as host.
I've been on here waiting for 20 minutes, Steve, and sent you a message 15 minutes ago about this. Anyway, we'll crack on. Paul, hello and welcome to you. First show with a win getting. Jed says good morning. Morning to you, Jed. Of course, over in Australia. Thanks for joining us. And Ben as well. Thanks for tuning in. He says, hi all, just to let everyone know, as it stands, Huddersfield Town Association Football Club will be playing in the Championship as of next season. As it stands, Ben, still a long season to go, but what a perfect start it was. As Paul says, good evening as well. So thank you for tuning in, everyone. Of course, make sure you get your comments in. Keep them clean as always. But I think, first of all, Steve, I want to touch on the build-up to the game yesterday. Obviously, we know what it was. It was 3-0 against AFC Wimbledon. A fantastic result, especially down a man for the majority of the game, 70-odd minutes. But the atmosphere building up to it, I was obviously sat up on the Riverside stand, right at the back of there, getting prepared for the game. And I just even felt around me there was a bit of optimism within some of the voices that I could hear, some of the clapping, the come on town. And I felt really positive before the game. And yeah, it just seemed as if there were a pretty good vibe going on.
Yeah, I think a lot to do with that is we've made some good signings, which I think the majority of people are really happy with. Some interesting signings, which we'll come on to talk about. And I think, people were sort of happy that we got Wimbledon up first. Obviously, a bit of a different team from when we faced them in May because of the changes that the town have made. Wimbledon not made that many signings. So I think people were really up for it. Nice to be back. Obviously, it was a nice day as well. So I think people were just generally happy to be back in the ground, and the ground's looking magnificent, obviously, with the safe standing now erected. And yeah, I think it was just a really positive atmosphere walking into the ground, to be honest, mate. And it was nice. I always feel on the first game back, the home game, people haven't seen each other for 4 or 5 months. Some people obviously, see each other just on match days. And I think that is always a nice way to start the season, saying hi to your friends and the people that sit around you.
Yeah, you definitely, it is nice to see the faces, isn't it? I mean, I've been obviously lucky enough to do the commentary for the club over pre-season, which again I'm extremely grateful for to do that. So some of the faces in the media I've already seen, but some again, it's nice to see them faces. But yeah, Oliver, you won't exactly have seen much of the atmosphere in the stadium, but through the socials, the build-up to the season's been pretty good as well. Did you get a feel from that all the way in the Falklands?
Yeah, I mean, well, the Huddersfield Town Falklands fan club was rocking yesterday. You know, in the no, joking. No, it's great. I mean, as Stephen said, it's it's great. Always the first game of the season against Wimbledon as well. A game that we could win, and we did eventually. And we had two really exciting signings as well. A sort of a new look, not officially new look team, but sort of a different players in different roles and a new manager as well. So always nice to get the fresh paint out. And yeah, it was good atmosphere to hear from anyway.
Yeah, certainly. I saw a lot of the socials building up to the game, which were really enjoyable to see. A lot of the things that have been going on in the stadium, it just give it a real feel. And I think always when the sun's out, it just helps that atmosphere ever so more. Okay, seeing a few more comments coming in. We're going to get through them very shortly because I think we best start talking about the game. Then we'll talk about some talking points. So this was a Huddersfield Town lineup. We started with Matty Young in goal, Radinho Balka, Jack Watmore, and Iban Bauer with the back three. Ilias Bronkhorst and Barley Mumbleby, two wingers. Ryan Ledson, Marcus Arnott were in the middle of the park. Ashley Fletcher and Joe Taylor were both leading the line, but one of them stepped into the 10 position with Sanchez Fernandez, depending on what were going on. So it was more of a two behind the one at times there, and Taylor and Fletcher certainly just swapped with each other. I don't know if you noticed that one. But in terms of the lineup, Oliver, it looked a pretty strong lineup when you saw it.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a bit more dynamic, the dynamic duo, I'm going to call them, Ashley Fletcher and Joe Taylor. Obviously, Joe Taylor's been very good at Wigan. It didn't quite work out last season for Huddersfield, so hopefully this will be a chance for him to shine. And yeah, like I say, we had I was quite positive going into the game. Definitely. I mean, it was good to see Joe Taylor back in the starting 11, really.
Yeah, and Steve, do you feel the same? You know, you thought it was a strong lineup, and again, good to see Joe Taylor there.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised, to be honest, Ken. I think we all had, when I say all, a lot of Town fans had the thought that Taylor was probably going to be on the bench, and Fletcher was going to be the man to start up top by himself. But I was really pleasantly surprised, and I love the fact that Martin Drury sort of, I think he kept it quiet, to be honest, and that were obviously the plan. You know, we didn't play the formation last week against Preston. We didn't, it was a very different performance in the cup to what we got yesterday stylistically, and I think that was a real good showing. You know, and I do like the fact that Taylor started, and I did like the fact that Harness started in midfield, because we saw him a couple of times last season with Ledson in that centre midfield position, and I do think he adds that athleticism in there. And all right, I was very harsh last season with both of them at times, but again, I thought Arnott was superb in probably what isn't his natural position, mate.
You were harsh last season.
No, not on everything. Not on everything. And yeah, justifiably, I was allowed to be harsh last season on certain individuals.
It was a bit as a surprise to see Marcus Arnott in the middle of the park, but I thought while he was in there, I thought he played absolutely superb. Look, we'll go into the performances of the individuals and the team as we continue talking about the game. But I thought there was a really good start to it, Steve. I thought we started well, on the front foot, wanted to be on the ball, and 4 minutes in, Joe Taylor works superbly hard, wins the ball up, high up inside his own half, gets the deflection that he needed to do, managed to collect it again, and then sets down Darren Slate, Sanchez Fernandez. Arguably, keepers should do better, but forget about that. Gets off, home league debut, first goal for the club. What an unbelievable start it was. And, last week I wasn't on the podcast because I wasn't too great. I had no voice. I kind of lost it again after that first goal went yesterday, but it was absolutely worth it.
Yeah, it was. I think what I loved about that goal was Joe Taylor's tenacity to make that challenge, get the ball, but then not just make the challenge, but then also run onto it and have the vision to make the pass. Because I think it's not the easiest pass. It is if you imagine a Y button through ball on the Xbox or a triangle on the PlayStation. It was a proper through ball, and DSF, as I think most Town fans are now calling him, he slotted it away brilliantly. Yes, the keeper, like you said, could have done better, but we didn't care about that. I mean, that just showed that move had pace, it had precision, it had athleticism about it. I just thought it was a superb start, and we really put Wimbledon on the back foot. And I think Johnny Jackson, in fairness to him after the game, did know that we were going to start fast, but they couldn't do anything about it. I mean, it was just a superb goal, and what a start on 4 minutes.
Yeah, it was a great start. I think Joe Taylor made a lot of that, and like you said, the pass. And Oliver, if you get that pass wrong, it doesn't happen. But you've still got to have the confidence to take that shot on from just inside the area, regardless. And he's showing what kind of confidence he's got. He's come with a bit of a name in terms of his stats and what he did over in the Dutch top league, and he's now going to show it what he's got in League One.
I mean, that's it, really. I mean, you've got a player here that, as you say, has that confidence and the ability to use his pace, use his strength to find them gaps. I mean, like I say, it was in that counter-attacking move, there was only Joe Taylor and Fernandez, and we ended up with a goal there. So, the fact that when Joe Taylor had the ball and we was able to find that gap in the defensive line on AFC Wimbledon and found that gap, Joe Taylor found him, and then away it went. And yes, the goalkeeper probably should have done a little bit better. But yeah, like I say, the fact that we've got a player that can find them gaps and expose them, I think, I know it's only one game in, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself. But at least we had someone that was doing that was probing and testing, whereas we didn't really have that really last season. But yeah, really, really good start for Fernandez, definitely.
And what I loved after hitting the celebrations, Kane, I don't know if you saw it on commentary or if Oliver saw it on the screen, but every single player, apart from Matty Young, which is obvious, went up to Joe Taylor in the celebrations, making sure they all said to him, look, you had a massive part in that goal. And for me, Taylor's one of them people, if you hype him up, you give him the big sort of licks, he's going to create, he's going to do something special for you, and you've just got to make him feel top of the world. And I thought that were really good by all the players to do that.
I think they noticed what an important role he played in that goal. Town still were creating chances even after that first one. For me, they kept winning the ball quite high up, and I think, Oliver, that comes on to the second goal. Town are winning the ball in a good area, then keep it, finding the little passes, and Ledson managing to find Fernandez just inside the area. And he kind of, I don't know what it was like for you watching, but for me, I felt that shot coming because I was behind it. I could just see wanting to put it onto his left foot, and then whips in. Thank you very much, 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the pressure was building, wasn't it? I mean, we had another chance when Fernandez put pressure on, and I don't know the defender, but it was deflected, wasn't it? No. So there was previous where the goalkeeper tried to clear it, and it hit and rebounded and nearly went in.
Yeah, hit Sweeney.
Sweeney, sorry, that was it. Yeah, but this is what I mean. Fernandez was putting that pressure on, and like I say, in this second goal, I don't know why AFC Wimbledon kind of stepped back a little bit, but he had the space in the and switched on his left. And yeah, I mean, like I say, the first goal, yeah, the goalkeeper should have done better, but the second goal, you're not stopping that. That was an incredible strike. And like I say, it just adds his fact that he's got a football brain, he's got the pace, and he's able to strike on his left foot. Incredible. Brilliant player.
Yeah, and Steve, he managed to find that space inside the area, which isn't easy to do, but I'm assuming you're still in a pretty similar seat that you were in last year.
Yeah, I was right behind it.
Yeah, so you'll have been right behind it. You see that curl on the ball as well, and that time Bishop, he had no chance of saving that one.
No, it was delicious, and Yeah, because I was right behind it, I could see the fear in Johnson's eyes. Like he knew what he. As a professional footballer, and we're not on here, but I'm guessing kind of what people your opponent is wanting to do if you've done your research on them, and you could just see the fear of, oh, I know what you want to do, pal, but I ain't stopping it. And yeah, it was just brilliant, and the curl was superb. If the first goal was all about tenacity and effort and precision, the second goal was all about agility, balance, and just absolute quality of strike of the ball. He reminds me a lot of, and you'll probably hate this, Kane, because I don't think you like this particular
don't say it.
I don't think you like this particular individual when he was at the club, but he reminds me a lot of Rajiv Van Lapara, to be honest. Yeah, I know.
Don't you dare put Darren Silly, Sanchez Fernandez down to that level. Don't you dare.
I liked Rajiv. Yeah, I know you didn't, and he is a very polarizing player. But I think he has the same sort of balance and like he's like the only way to describe it is like he's like wind in terms of he can go wherever he wants, and he's just light on his feet, and I just think it was superb.
Yeah, a superb goal. Please don't ever compare them two again, because Fernandez actually works for the team, and Van Lapara isn't always keen on working back. But I think we saw Oliver as a whole, before we come on to the controversial point, is that Joe Taylor, Fernandez, both at times playing behind Fletcher. Sometimes it was Fletcher behind Taylor, but they were all working back, and there was actually a really good work rate off the ball, which caused Huddersfield Town to be the dominant side in that first 20-25 minutes.
That's why I said at the start of the podcast, maybe Jury's got sort of a dynamic attacking force. Maybe he's not going for the one striker up at the top and getting the 20 goals. Maybe he's swapping and changing, with all these that are able to fill in the positions and the gaps. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, from what I saw, obviously AFC Wimbledon definitely let them play, and I'm sure some other big sides might be more accustomed to that. But having sort of that three attacking names there, all switching and changing the positions, I think it's a good thing. Good thing for Huddersfield.
Yeah, it certainly was. Okay, let's go through some comments, and then we'll talk about the controversial decision, because I've seen a few comments in there as well. Let me just go back up to the top again. Apologise, Steve. He's hopefully going to have to try and keep up with me here. And Paul K says, "Do you think it was a red card? I was in the Kilnabank towards the couch. I didn't think it was a red." We're going to talk about it very soon, Paul. Interesting point from you. And also Paul afterwards says, because we've got some play on our hands, Kane, DSF is the baller. Paul also said the kid is going to be special, the man in the mask. What an interesting celebration that was as well yesterday. So, yeah, I enjoyed that. I didn't see it from commentary. I saw it afterwards.
Why does it?
Why does he do it?
So for his old team, Excelsior, he was called the Golden Boy, because he came out of their system and whatever. And he started wearing this mask. And when he signed for us, he said that he got asked as he brought the mask over, and he said, absolutely. So that's why he wears it.
Well, that's why he wears it. And Ben says, if Tower can play with three, can win 3-0 with 10 men, imagine how we can with 11. Ben, I think that makes a good point. I want to come on to that a little bit later. Paul again says Fernandez is quality signing. Second goal was cracking. Mickey saying what a great win yesterday. Paul again saying Taylor played well. Good to have him in the side. We looked really good. Luke afterwards, praise obviously goes with DSF yesterday, but our backline was very composed yesterday. Two of the best centre backs in the league with Watmore and Balker. Hopefully they can stay fit. Again, more praise for Joe Taylor. The pass for the goal was phenomenal. Mickey, good evening to you as well, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Terrier 930. Wimbledon were absolutely awful yesterday, but fair play to Town. We put in a good performance, and Fernandez looks like some player. I do think Wimbledon were awful, but I'll touch on that at some point. Jed saying, I'm going to say something now. Was that Joe Taylor's best game in Town shirt, given only he played 45 minutes? Interesting. Mickey, I'm not going to start singing, by the way, Steve. Tom, we've definitely seen that. I'm going to stop at Mickey afterwards, though, Steve. Thought Mumba's sending off was harsh. Okay.
Loving the comments, by the way. So many comments.
Yeah, comments are great, so thank you very much for them. We'll do his best to get through them all. Thought Mumba's sending off was harsh. Steve?
No, it's a red. It's a red. He's dived in and he's just lost his head for a moment. So yeah, it's a red.
Okay, Oliver?
Yeah, I mean, his studs was showing this when you're a referee, there's three sort of criteria. Is it dangerous, reckless, or careless? And if he had contact with the player there, yeah, it would have been caused a big injury. So yeah, it was a dangerous challenge and should have red card. He didn't need to do it either. That's the thing. Didn't need to challenge that, but yeah.
Yeah, so my opinion when I was first watching it, I was like, oh, he's got the ball. He didn't get the ball.
He didn't.
I don't think his studs was up, but I think what Oliver's saying in terms he was a bit excited, I have to agree. Town were really on the front foot and they just wanted to win the ball high up, and maybe the occasion got there a little bit. I think red was harsh. I'd go with yellow, but that's because I think footballers are soft. I don't actually think there's much contact there, and I think the legs are pointing down. But as what Oliver's saying, that it does come in from quite far. It is a big slide challenge. So I understand where it's coming from, but if that's a red, then there were a tackle in the second half, which Brownie made on Wallace, which is led from behind, gets nowhere near the ball, just takes him out. That's a red as well.
We didn't even go for ball.
Well, no tackle.
Didn't even try to go for ball. So yeah, I agree. That should have been a red, and somehow that was a yellow. Yeah.
So in terms of the consistency and where we're at, but go on, Oliver, you are the referee.
Yeah, well, I'm obviously not a Premier League level or AFL level, but the fact that it was the intent, I think that's what the referee was going on. The fact that yes, okay, he was lucky not to catch the player, but again, if he would have caught that player, and there is some slow motions as well. His studs were showing. His studs were live. So if it would have collapsed with him, it would have been a dangerous injury for that player. And I think that's what he's gone with, the intent.
So the tackling by Brown in the second half, where he intends to take the man, not the ball, is that a red then?
Well, I mean, you'd have to really. Could it be a dangerous challenge though? Would it cause significant injury to the player?
From behind as well.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah.
You can't tackle from behind.
No, not really. But yeah. So like say. I probably would say so as well. But anyway, that's the referee's probably.
He finally got off the fence. He finally got off the fence. We've done it. We've done it, everyone. We've got him off the fence.
Happy new season. No, absolutely. I mean, like say, the referee would have written his report about it, and it's a shame, to be honest, that we can't read them and see what the reasonings were. But I guess that's for the future, isn't it? But
I wonder why we can't read them.
Yeah, I wonder why at all.
I wonder why we can't read them, Oliver.
Don't put yourself down, Oliver. You are the creme de la creme of the Falklands Refereeing Association, so don't put yourself down.
Something like that.
Yeah. I thought after that red card, the stadium atmosphere was a bit not again kind of. Steve, did you feel that?
Yeah, because I had the same reaction. I was like gutted. Like I was gutted for Ballet because he's obviously, like you said, Kane, had his blood up and in the moment. But I was just like, no, we don't need this. We've played so well for 28 minutes. Like, if that sending off hadn't have happened, I think we'd have won them 6-7-0. Because I genuinely think we were that good in the first half. We could have scored another 4. And it just, I think it put everybody on edge, because we're already on edge because we know that we've got a 90th minute equaliser in us. So I think people were just thinking it's a long time to play with 10 men.
Yeah, because players, fans, we remember everything, don't we? We remember what happened last season. We remember what happened the week before. You think it's going to happen again. They think it's going to happen again. And Oliver, Wimbledon built only a tiny bit of pressure in that first half, despite being a man up. And I certainly got the feeling in commentary that if Town get into half time here, despite the fact they've been all over them and they've not been able to speak to the coaching staff, staying 2-0 up will actually be really good at this moment in time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what happens with Huddersfield, though, from last season and our first game of the season is that we sort of sit back, don't we? Once we're leading on the break, we sit back. But like I said, I was looking at the quality of Wimbledon and I couldn't see them. I always had this sort of inkling in my head that I don't think they would have got an equaliser. You know, they just didn't have the quality enough to be able to do that. Whereas obviously some of the teams, yes, you'd be panicking straight away, but it just seemed like, yeah, AFC Wimbledon had the possession, but only, was it one shot on target or two shots on target or something? So they had 60% possession, didn't do anything with it. Whereas Huddersfield had 3 shots on target, 3 goals, simple as that. So, you know what I mean? It's, okay, we had a red card, 10 men, but, you know, I always thought a little bit of confidence against Wimbledon anyway.
I genuinely thought they were absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. You know, they couldn't make a 5-yard pass. Their build-up play was slow. Their tempo was horrendous. I don't know why they didn't try and take more efforts. I don't know why it took them till 5 minutes to go to stick 5 inside the area and put the crosses in. Beyond me, I thought their performance was just a bit of a joke. Okay, half-time, Town getting 2-0 up. They are a man down. I said on comms, this is going to be a harsh decision because Joe Taylor's played absolutely fantastically in that first half. He's worked unbelievably hard, worked his socks off, but you kind of just knew it was going to be him coming off, Steve.
Yeah, I think it was probably the right call. And I was pleased to hear after the game that Joe Taylor took it so well. To be honest, because you would be, having known how you performed in that first half, he'd have probably been licking his lips thinking, you know what, even though we're down at 10 men, I bet I can get on the score sheet here. Because, like you said, the pap. But yeah, it was the right decision. Yeah, and bringing Kasumu on was a good change because it gives us legs, even more legs in midfield.
Yeah, because what that did, obviously, Kasumu was then able to cover the left-hand side of the field as well as the middle because the amount of the engine that he's got on him is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oliver, at halftime, did you feel as if it would be Taylor to come off as well?
Yeah, I mean, again, so the defensive line was doing well for Huddersfield and you needed to take an attacking player off. And yeah, maybe Joe Taylor's time was to come off for, as Steve mentioned, a midfield player on that left that's been quite weak, or I would say, in Huddersfield. So yeah, it would be good to add extra legs in the midfield.
And again, like we all saying that we knew Joe Taylor would come off, but this wasn't because he'd had a bad game. By the way, he was absolutely superb. It was just a case of we knew what was going to happen here. If you're going to bring off an attacking player, it's not going to be Fletcher because Fletcher can hold it up for you, and Fernandez has got the absolute pace to get in behind. Is going to beat everybody, which we'd seen. So coming into the second half, Oliver, you've mentioned already about in terms of we've seen Town sit back. Is that what you expected to happen in the second?
I mean, look, it's start of the season, isn't it? So you never know what's going to happen until 10 games in when you can kind of gain a sort of how Huddersfield are going to play throughout the season. But from last season, yeah, that's what we used to do. We used to go into the break leading and then sit back and try and grind out the result. Whereas, so you kind of expected a little bit, but as I mentioned earlier, you know, and no disrespect to Wimbledon, I just don't think they're quite ready yet to. I just didn't see the quality for them to sort of. Although they did get a disallowed goal, but you know, I didn't really see that attacking threat as much as we would see with other teams in League One, for example.
Yeah, see, Steve, when I was thinking at halftime, I was like, I don't know which way to go here. I know which way personally I would go, up against this side. But I think the start of the second half with Sweeney kicking his clearance and it going out for a corner, that actually set the tone for Town to go, okay, we don't necessarily need to just sit back here. We can actually give them a little bit more. We can go at them despite being a man down.
Yeah, well, I think Town also made the calculated risk of, look, if you give Wimbledon the ball in certain areas, they'll either mess it up themselves or we've kind of got enough cover to be able to deal with anything that they might throw at us. I mean, they brought Jaden Stockley on, who's, you know, half decent centre forward at this level. You know, he gets in there. But again, they didn't find him often enough with any sort of quality. And yeah, I thought it was a measured second half performance, really. It kind of, you know, like you said, first 5 minutes, and then they make that error. And then I think we just sat into it then and just said, you know, we'll attack when we can. And I thought Fletcher was really good at that in the second half, particularly. You know, getting hold of the ball, just holding it up, getting those little niggly fouls as well. Obviously, using his head really gets further up the pitch because, as Oliver says, you know, we have got that ability to sit back, unfortunately. But we didn't do that yesterday, which was good to see.
Yeah, it was really nice to see that, wasn't it? I actually felt at times as well, Steve, that it didn't look like Town had a man less.
No, it didn't. No, it genuinely didn't. No, I think that's because the amount of running, though, that the midfield got through, the likes of Harness, Ledson. I mean, Harness particularly was, apart from DSF, was my man of the match. I thought it was outstanding, to be honest. And then you looked at like the two centre backs alongside Watmore. You know, I thought Watmore was class yesterday, but you know, even Bowen and Bolker, I think they're quite similar. They've got a bit of pace about them. I think they're decent on the ball, and it meant that again, for whatever pressure Wimbledon tried to put on us, which wasn't a lot, we could deal with it quite easily, to be honest. And it made us look like we didn't have a man less.
Yeah, and Ben's just said, I forgot we had a man less at various points in the second half. They couldn't string two passes together, let alone three. And I completely agree. I thought they were the worst enemy yesterday. They just let themselves down massively. Although, Oliver, the goal goes in from the corner. Johnson gets his head on it. And then, thankfully, it's offside. And there's a bit of a relief, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, that third goal was always going to be important. If they got it, it's half the deficit and give them the confidence in the last stage of the game. If we got it, which ended up we getting it, we seal the game out. So, yeah, like I say, when that went in, there was a bit of a panic. Not a panic, that's the wrong word, but a bit, oh, here we go again, you know, that kind of feeling. And then when the lino had his flag up, brilliant, offside. So,
and Steve, in the stadium, even I heard the big sigh of relief when the whistle went and the referee had his arm up and offside. There was and then a big cheer.
I also think there was a tiny bit of confusion of whether it was disallowed for interference of play being in front of Matt Young. I thought that I didn't realise, I didn't clock that it was offside, but it was when you watch it back. And also fair play to Johnny Jackson. He said, well, we should have had a goal. You know, I can't blame that disallowed goal for the reason that we lost because we were crap. So fair play for him coming out and saying that after the game. But yeah, it was the right decision. And like you say, a bit of a relief because they could have pushed on. They could have pushed on if that had been allowed, even with their lack of quality, as we've said.
And then Tam made a couple of subs, important ones. Wallace coming on just to show that defensive bit of play in taking off Sanchez. Fernandez, he'd run really hard. He's not had a full pre-season with Town. And Fletcher as well, who'd worked his socks off. Radulovic comes on for him, who, again, has not exactly had a full pre-season, picked up a bit of a knock in pre-season. So to get him back on the field as well was a really smart move. And Town very lucky at the minute, Steve, to have the likes of Fletcher who can hold the ball up and Radalovic who can hold the ball up as well. And then obviously bringing on Wallace, you've got that experience at the back too.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, bringing Murray on was... that was the only change that I slightly disagreed with, actually, when it was made.
Okay, why is that?
Because I was thinking at the time, and again, it's our natural position as Town fans to be absolutely scared of a substitution happening, because particularly a defensive one, if it means that we're going to sit back. I was thinking, hang on, DSF is the only one that's really helping us get up the pitch. And we're bringing Murray Wallace on for him, which naturally means that now we're going to have more defenders on the pitch, which means that we'll sit back. That didn't happen, luckily enough. But obviously that was the only thing in the back of my mind. But yeah, obviously then, like you said, with Fletcher being changed for Bojan, I thought Bojan looked good, to be honest. Like, you couldn't really tell that he's had that much time off, injured. Obviously, speed of game might take him a few weeks to get back up to proper speed, but I thought it was good. I thought he was good, taking the ball down on his chest, doing his soft feet sort of, impersonation. I just think it was, it was really good when he came on.
Love some soft feet, don't we, from Bojan Radalovic. Oliver, again, I thought the subs, they made the right impact though, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, even when Gooch came on as well, we still had he looked quite lively for Harness, so that was a quite, that's what we needed, just a bit more to see the game out, really. But yeah, and this is what I'm saying, that Drury has options, he has areas now that he can put players in and trust the players in them positions. So yeah, like I say, Ashley Fletcher, as he can hold the ball up, but once he's sort of tired out or whatever, or needs to change, you've got other options like Bojan, for example, to be able to do that, and it paid off. It paid off, didn't it?
And how about this though for the third goal? Ronaldinho Balca down the right wing managed to just find himself a bit of space. It was a lovely bit of play. The Megs from Broncos to get it back into Balca. Balca around his man. I'm thinking he's bearing down on goal. Shoot, Balca. Do it. You deserve it. Do it. Radalovic comes in ever so nicely. Lovely little pullback. And Steve, the atmosphere in the stadium again just went buff. Town are down to 10. They've managed to pick up a third goal. Thank you very much. See you later. Sent Wimbledon packing, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it was a lovely pirouette from Balca. I thought it was really, and we know that he's got that sort of in his locker. Actually, we have seen that before. I did think the pullback was slightly behind Bojan, so he actually did well because, to fire it into the roof of the net, I thought, really, he must have pulled it back quite far, and he did. So he did well. But Balca did excellent, and Broncos did really well as well. And I was really impressed with him yesterday. I thought, it's nice to have a fullback with a bit of an engine. He didn't look shattered after the game, did he? And he got through a fair amount of work, to be honest. No, it was just really nice, and it was a lot like, but let's not get too excited, right? It was a lot like the feeling that we had last season on the first day against Leyton Orient. It felt very similar after the third and the fourth goal last year, where you think, wow, we might be onto something here, but I'm just temper those feelings a bit. Yes, it was great. Yes, yesterday, and I got caught up in it all, but then today I'm thinking, yeah, I remember this feeling last year, and we finished 9th. Not to be negative.
Yeah, don't be negative after such a positive result. Oliver, 3-0, game over. What a fantastic first game of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you could even feel the relief from the Aku Stadium, 8,000 miles away here in the Falklands. So as soon as that third goal went in, relief. Because like I said, that third goal was crucial to seal the game out and close it off, really. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the third goal was a similar scenario to the first goal. Two players, their link-up play was great. And as you say, Rodinho's strength was able to, he was there. And like I say, the fact that he didn't shoot and he used his teammate and was going for the goal rather than his own personal glory, I mean, that says a lot about the team dynamics at the moment in the team. But yeah, like I said, the relief was off, and then we could seal out and go top of the league for a week in League One.
Top of the league for the first week. I don't know how much you can see it, Oliver, but when you see the players give to teammates rather than shooting, celebrating with the person that's created the assist, and then everyone going to everyone, do you see that team spirit from so far away as well?
Yeah, I mean, you see the kind of camera angles that goes to the goal scorer. But yeah, like I say, Bojan was pointing at Rodinho, and like I say, so it was a perfect link-up play, and you hear the crowd and things like that. But yeah, I would much prefer to sit in the Aku Stadium and watch it. But yeah, the next best thing is watching from the TV screen. So,
and Steve, it does seem as if there is a good team spirit at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, they are mates, aren't they, off the field from what you see on socials and stuff. Rodinho and Bojan. So I think that will mean a lot to them too, that they've been involved in the goal. To be fair, the team spirit looks good. Looks good at the moment. Obviously, I think Jed's put a comment in. Just enjoy the moment. Down to yes, I am Jed. I promise. And then
he's also. He also put, and here's me thinking there was a new AI positive Downsy.
Yeah, cheers, Jed. Thanks for that. No, I think the team spirit is there, but the team spirit has to carry through to the dark days of December and January. So it's all right when it's on the first game against August and we've smashed Wimbledon 3-0, probably are going to get relegated. But let's see how far into the season this team spirit takes us, because it demolished last season quite early on.
Yeah. I don't think there was a bad play for Town yesterday. I thought everyone played really well. Mumba, and up until the red card, he was having a decent performance as well. But there wasn't one player out there where I thought probably need to be taken off again.
Shout out to Matty Young as well. I thought he was really good. We had a lone keeper last season, of course, that we all remember, that had a head loss away at Barnsley, and I can't see Matty Young having that. All right, it's Wimbledon, and I know they didn't properly test him, but he came to catch every ball that they did put in the net, in the box. Sorry, me and my dad were saying after the game, he looks really calm for a 19-year-old. He looks like he's ready to play at this sort of level, if not higher. And I know Sunderland tip him highly to go on and do big things. So yeah, big shout out to him.
Yeah, he did come and collect a few crosses, which were nice to see. Oliver, again, same kind of question to you. They want one bad performance yesterday.
No, not really. I mean, like I say, it was, how can you sort of be negative about us being top of the league and a really clinical performance there from Huddersfield? Like I say, there was, it's the start of the season. I always say the 10th game is probably where you can benchmark where Huddersfield and where the other teams are at. At the moment, it's just sort of jockeying for position. But yeah, like I say, really good performance. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though, but let's be positive. And it's great to be at the top of the league. But one thing I will say is I don't know if it was there on the day, but were they wearing T-shirts for Ben Mcguain? But obviously he's injured,
Marcus Mcguain,
yeah. Oh God, here we go. Sorry, I was thinking of someone else. Not Marcus Mcguain, sorry.
Yeah, so Marcus Mcguain, unfortunately, has done his ACL, did that on training on Wednesday. And Martin Drury made some really good comments in his press conference afterwards, actually. Was talking about how hard it is to actually watch someone get injured like that in front of you from a perspective of teammates, coaching staff, management, because Marcus has been working really hard. He had a few injuries last year, been working hard for the beginning of the season, and we're a few days away from it, and his season's over like that. This is someone whose career, this is his livelihood, and he's doing his best to be out there for us as fans, but as well for himself, and that's all been taken away by just something that happens in training. That's what Sonic Paul says. We're with you, Marcus, on them, and it also had his number 17 on the back of the training shirts as well.
So that's what I kind of wanted to add. Maybe, obviously, it's sad that that's happened, and hopefully the team are sort of gelling together to play for Marcus as well, to sort of, again, that team spirit might have been built as well around sort of Marcus on his speedy recovery, hopefully.
Yeah, and as John says, fans forget these. There's a person behind every player. Absolutely, these feelings. I mean, I'll ask you two in terms of, if you had any injuries that stop you from playing. I know I certainly have, and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible not being able to play football anymore. And these guys, they're making a living from it. So it is tough. But as Oliver mentioned, they'll all be working hard for him, and he'll be around the group going forward as well. This Town helping with his injury and his rehabilitation. Okay, gents. Well, what an absolutely fantastic start to the season that we've had. Town beating Wimbledon 3-0 at home. But coming up, as Steve mentioned, he's going away down to MK Dons next week. They've come up from League Two. We'll be seeing an ex-Huddersfield Town player down at MK Dons. It will probably be a bit of a tough test, really. I think everything will be a tough test. How do you see this one going next week, Oliver? Can we read anything into it yet?
No, you can't read it. Not really. Like I say, as I mentioned earlier, good performance this one. Again, it's probably the 10th game mark. But yeah, like I say, you can't really read much into it just yet.
So, okay then. So what kind of things are we asking to see from Town then? If we can't read much into what MK Dons are going to be about, what can we hope from Huddersfield?
Well, I mean, like I say, because the thing is, like I said, teams have changed and they've changed the system throughout pre-season. The fitness levels are not there from different teams, etc. I mean, home, obviously, Huddersfield have the advantage usually. But, like I say, the fact that we've got that dynamic sort of attacking threat, like I say, I think that's something to use and play to our strengths. I think that's super important. And like I say, a nice little visual there for Huddersfield. But other clubs will be watching in and looking at that sort of Joe Taylor threat and that sort of link-up play. And we'll be obviously looking at Fernandez, who is the standout performer of the week, I would say. So, yeah, like I say, MK Dons will be watching. But again, it should be a nice fixture that we could win. But MK Dons are dangerous as well. So.
Yeah, they certainly are. Steve, they've played 2, lost to Norwich in the Cup, and then drew to Oxford yesterday. Just having a look through their squad, some really good players in there. Really good players. Charlie Good in defence. Daniel Barlazen. Obviously, Ben Wiles is there, who we know much about. Ryan Whittle. They've also got Nathaniel Mendez-Lang, San Noble, Callum Patterson, Sam Silvera. There's some really good players in that squad. They've got some money. They've been spending some. They aren't going to be any pushovers next week.
Absolutely not. And a lot of people are tipping them to be in the top 6. I'm not. But I think they'll be a dangerous team. Whittle, I think he's their top signing so far. I mean, he was outstanding at Cardiff last year. I'm surprised that they've not kept him. And even though he's gone, I'm surprised he'd gone to MK Dons. So it shows they've come up and they want to make a bit of a statement. Like I said, they got Ben Wiles. Let's hope he's towing his caravan. They've got, like I said, Sam Nombe. I mean, he was, a striker in a Rotherham side that was absolutely abysmal, and yet he still got something like 12 goals, I think. So give him proper service and he can be a very, very good striker in this division. So it's going to be chalk and cheese compared to what we've faced v Wimbledon. It's actually a coincidence, isn't it? We're playing Wimbledon first week and then we've got MK on second week. History fans, you'll know why that is a coincidence.
Don't you find it funny that last season we played, or the season before, we played Leyton Orient last game of the season, then played them at home first game of the season. Yeah. Then we played Wimbledon last game of the season last year, and then we played Wimbledon at home first game of the season this year. you noticed
Yeah,
that?
well, it's lazy EFL scheduling that. I think they've just if you noticed, I think everybody had the same teams on the opening day to the. I think because if you notice, MK Dons played Oxford, so that was two teams that were in the division.
True.
I'm pretty sure
Notts County Leicester.
Yeah, Notts County Leicester, they were in the division. So I think everybody who played everybody on the last day of the season that were in the league last year had them on the first day. I think probably somebody's going to tell me I'm wrong here, but yeah,
maybe, but it was very.
I mean, it's interesting that they got a 2-2 draw against Oxford because I don't think anybody really knows what to make of Oxford this year. They've obviously had a transfer embargo, not signed any players, and had quite a number of them leave. So it's hard. I get what Oliver's saying. Normally, you probably could judge something on the first game, but I think it's hard in this instance because nobody knows which way Oxford's going to go. So to judge MK Dons is a bit, it's hard. It's difficult. But we've got to go there and put the same. To answer your question directly, Ken, we've got to go there and play like we did yesterday. Same style, same passing the ball quickly, moving the ball quickly. Having that same, I'm going to use a very political Labour saying here, laser focused. We've got to be laser focused on wanting the result and the type of style and performance that we put in. I don't want to see a defensive away style. I don't think that's Drury's way anyway. Actually, I think he's just got one track mind of we're going there to win and dominate the ball.
Yeah, we can only hope so. Paul says it's going to be a tough game. They're no mugs. And Jade also says MK Dons are throwing a lot of money into their squad. This is an early test for us. But if we are the real deal, this will tell us. Couldn't agree more. So thank you for them comments. Ben's already put his prediction in. Don't get it up yet. Steve. Get your predictions in for next week. Want to know what they are. Everyone that's viewing, get them in there and see how people think we might do away at MK Dons. You say you're going down, Steve?
Yeah, first time to the MK. I don't know what they call their stadium now. It's just basically it's a bowl, isn't it, where there's only about 100 people that go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It always reminds me of the game all those years ago that I watched on TV with Ian Bennett in the playoff semi-final where Rhodesy scored in that lovely red and blue away shirt.
Yeah, what a fantastic time that. Where I remember watching that game. I think there were nearly more Town fans there for that one.
I think there were more Town fans there.
Well, Oliver, do you remember that one?
Yeah, I mean, and we lose the second one as well in the semi-finals as well. But we won the first leg 2-2. We lost the second one 2-1.
Don't bring it down. We're just positives, Oliver. Just positives, man.
Sorry. We lost the game, but we won on penalties as usual.
Yeah, that was something like that was League One, but we haven't played MK Dons for 10 years. So again, another thing to add. Last time when we were both in the Championship. So yeah, that's quite again, no idea, no inkling on how we're going to do, but.
I think from my perspective, we've just got to hope that we see more of what we saw yesterday, which is winning the ball high up, creating opportunities, creating chances, and not being afraid to go forward. I thought one of the most positive things for me yesterday was, despite the fact that we were down to 10 men, we still went forward. That's so key. You cannot just sit there and hope for the best. So that was really, really positive. Okay, let's go through some. Go on, Steve.
DSF is going to be double marked though from now on, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he deals with the doubling up.
Which is fine because that's going to give more space to Fletcher, Radolovic, Taylor, Bronkhorst. So fine, double up on Fernandez. You're not going to beat him because someone else will do the job. Which is absolutely fine. Okay, right, let's go through some predictions then. Let's start with Ben. His first one, because he's put 2 in now. He says he was hacked for his first one, but we're still going to say it anyway, Ben. He says 1-0 MK. Don't want to be overly confident, otherwise we won't win. But then he also comes down afterwards and says 2-0 Town. Ignore my earlier comment. Must have been hacked. Yeah, you must have been, Ben. Paul says MK fakes 1 Town 3. Riverhead 8-0 Town. Mickey Mouse MK need to stick to making F1 cars. Well, that is interesting. And Ben says, yeah, I always put 2. You should know that. Well, Ben, we do know that. And by the way, great to have you back watching the podcast again. So thanks very much. Go on, Steve.
Jed, unfortunately, I might not have time, mate. Depends how many pints I have. But I'll let you know.
He can't afford the packaging to the Gold Coast. CW says Huddersfield Town will win this one 3-1. Luke says hopefully Collins is match fit, then bringing him for Barley, put Harness out wide, keep the team the same. 3-1 Town. Okay, well, that means it's time for you two to give your predictions, and I'm going to go to Oliver first.
Ooh, me first. Okay. Usually I'm the last one to bring in the positive, but yeah, I would go 3-1. We haven't lost against MK Dons in the league, excluding the playoffs, since 2008, and I don't see it finishing anytime soon. So 3-1 Huddersfield Town.
Nice and positive. So Oliver saying 3-1. Steve, now I've set you up here to be positive. The AI Steve, that is positive. I've set you up nicely.
It's not AI. It's not AI.
I've set it up nicely. So come on. What we're going for?
Oh, sorry to let you down, boys. No, I'll go for a usual 2-1 Town.
A 2-1 Town. Wow, that is positive.
And I'll say,
exactly.
I'll say Ledson and Watmore to score.
Ledson and Watmore. Okay, well, that is very positive, everyone. Oh, Jed, I'm not talking to you now, Jed.
Ben Wiles will get a goal. We know that. It's just obvious. He spent 3 years at Town, and they were crap, and he'll have a game of his life on next Saturday.
Well, Jed says 1-1, so he's absolutely ruined it for us all. Cheers, Jed. No, thank you everyone for tuning in. I don't even know what we're going to have, as Ben says, top of the league, in terms of an outro. Last time when I was here controlling things, we had a nice little tune, but Steve's messed it all up, he says anyway. But it's been really, really positive. West Yorkshire Football Show. It's been a Talk Town special. Steve's headline was Terriers win big on opening day. We've had lots of positive predictions for next week. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. You've been absolutely fantastic as always. Steve, Oliver, thanks for joining us. Hope you have a wonderful week. Hope everyone has a wonderful week. And Steve, if you're ready, until next time, we shall see you. Goodbye.